Time for the 12th Annual Red Knights Firefighters Motorcycle Club and Renda Broadcasting's Teddy Bear Fun Ride. Sunday, August 4th to fund child health at IRMC and Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. Registration starts at 10 a.m. at the Altman Volunteer Fire Department, and the ride starts at noon. Just a donation of $15 per rider and $10 per passenger, and there will be a Chinese auction, strip tickets, door prizes, free food, and music, all with your donation that day. The first 175 registered get a commemorative 2024 ride pin. The ride will be with emergency vehicle escorts, thanks to the local volunteer fire companies and police departments. Any street-legal vehicle is welcome. Come ride with heroes to help local kids. Sunday, August 4th, for the 12th Annual Teddy Bear Fun Ride. A fun ride for a great cause.
7:46 in the morning. It is 14 away from 8 o'clock. It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. And that guy over there, that's Bob Pollock from the Extension. You can give us a call at 479-1160 or 349-WCCS if you have a question for Mr. Pollock as we enter into another hot stretch of weather. Our conversation this morning brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. We have different blends of grasses in our lawns here in Pennsylvania. It's not like Kentucky where it's all bluegrass. We've got grasses that grow in cool weather, grasses that grow in warmer weather, and we have grasses that are all burnt up right now.
We got it all.
Our lawns are crunchy right now. Does that come back? Is that grass permanently harmed, or does it come back?
We'll see how we're all going to fare with that. Typically in the summertime with our cool season grasses, when it gets warmer and hotter and drier, they go dormant. But if we get dry enough, most of the root system of a grass plant's within the top 4 inches of soil. Mm-hmm. So as that soil gets drier and drier, those plants go dormant, but they can only take that for so long. They still have to have hydration and water in the system. So there may be spots where it doesn't come back. Yeah. It's brown and it's looking really brown, and so we'll just have to monitor that as we go through August, mm-hmm. which oftentimes is a little drier month, but we'll see.
I did 18 jars of beans yesterday out of the garden. Did 20 earlier in the week. So the beans are doing well this year. One thing I noticed, though, is that with the ground the way that it is, the bean plants, when you're pulling on the bean, the plant wants to come up out of the ground because the ground just can't hold it because it is so dry. So you got to be really careful when you're doing things like that. But one of the neat things I noticed was that the beans themselves, even in the middle of the afternoon, they had held the moisture underneath that plant. The leaves of the plant, the foliage, held the moisture underneath, and the ground was actually moist underneath there. And that's a really great thing that they adapt in such a way, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, dense enough. There's enough foliage there and plant to shade the ground, and that helps. That shading keeps the sun from directly shining on that and drying it out quicker. Mm-hmm. So as long as we've got the plant there, and usually most vegetables will do better on a drier year like this, where we have more sunshine and the weather's drier. As long as we can get some water to that root system to keep it going, then, boy, you can get higher quality crops. Now, you still, if you're a little short on water, the beans might not be as long. The yield might be off a little bit, but the quality can be pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is too the sugar content of those ones that are sweeter tends to be greater now too, because there's a little less moisture in the plant, and so the sugars get concentrated, and we have oftentimes what we would consider a higher quality product because it has more flavor to it.
Yeah. I want to ask about this as well. Beginning of July, there was a service truck that had to park on the lawn down below, and when it did, it sat there for a good part of a day, and because of it, the grass underneath it, it didn't survive. So that being the patch, I have a patch that's maybe 2 feet long, and a truck tire's width wide. Where the grass is gone now, and that patch is there. Now, I just filled it in with ground. I didn't seed it. I figured I'd wait till fall to seed it. And so I just got that patch. I can see there's some crabgrass coming up through it right now.
So
So
even
what
though
do
we
what do you do with that?
Right, even though we've had drier weather, the weight of that vehicle was enough to compress that. Still, it would have been best to have just dug that up, because there is compaction there from that vehicle sitting there. So it's compressed that soil. So even though we throw some topsoil on top and even it up with the surrounding area, we still have some soil compaction there.
Yeah.
That may come back later and causes problems. But typically in that situation, we'd like to go in there, work that up, loosen it up, work it up. We still might have to add a little bit of soil in there, but that'll also alleviate that compaction that is there.
That was a particularly moist section of the lawn where that truck's at. And so it did sink down in a little bit, and so that's why I just filled dirt in on top of it. But I could still go, and I could churn that up a little bit, right?
Yes.
I could till it up.
Yep. Yeah, you can get it prepped. I mean, now with the ground dryer, it's easy to prep things. The ground could be hard and a little hard to dig and work up into finer soil enough, to make it smooth it out. But most of the time it'll crumble and you'll be good. And you can get it prepped, and then if you have a way to water, of course you could go ahead and seed it. But if not, wait till we get to mid to late August, and then seed it then, because hopefully, at that point we will have a little better conditions for things to grow again.
Now,
and more ample moisture is the big thing.
A problem that is, it's unique to some areas and not existent in others, is because that truck was sitting there, a horse came up through and got spooked by it and took a little joy run through the yard.
You have all the excitement out there, don't you?
It was quite the exciting day. And because of that, now I've got horse, a horse, a big animal. And when they go through a yard, particularly if it's a wet area, they're going to sink down in.
Yep.
And so I had a lot of damage there that I filled in with dirt as well. And that's a different type of thing. That's not the pressure of the fire truck pushing down the stuff. It was the poking of the hole that goes down maybe 6-8 inches in that area. And so I just filled that in with dirt too.
Yeah.
That's what to do.
Right. Yeah. That's about all you can do with that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful neighborhood, but it has its own challenges.
Yes, that's right.
So lawn care is one thing that we are concerned about at this time of the year. Garden care is another thing.
Because the grass goes dormant, but there's still spots where there might be a little bit more moisture, or things that get shaded a little bit where that grass is still maybe greener. It might be still growing a little bit, and you have other areas that are not at all. They're dormant.
Yeah.
And so you can get some unevenness there. And, of course, we lose some of the color, and it can get crispy and not as nice to walk on or play in or, do activities on.
Well, with this dry weather, the other question that I had to do with apple harvest, and how that is affected by the extreme heat and dry weather that we're having right now.
So maturity of things may speed up a little bit.
Okay.
Due to those conditions, we may not see as much size put on because, of course, there's moisture in apples. And so that we need that moisture in there to help them size. So we might have more smaller apples or medium-sized apples and not as large.
That's why Washington apples are so
in that-
famous.
Yeah, yeah. They have more consistent conditions there, or they're under irrigation conditions that allow them to, have pretty consistent crops. And we tend to get more variability here. And we don't have, because we usually get enough moisture, or, we'll go for spells, but then we'll get some moisture. In a lot of cases, folks don't have irrigation systems, trickle irrigation systems in their fruit tree plantings.
Yeah.
However, that's starting to be thought of and put in place more often, just to hedge against, you need a crop. It's just too expensive to get these systems in place and grow them and not be able to harvest a crop from them and get some return on that investment. So that's one of the things that can be included in there to help make sure that happens. The trees, we have a wide variety of trees, from very dwarf trees to medium-sized trees. We don't see the old standard size tree anymore that looks like a shade tree, 20 or 25 feet tall. A lot of the trees are smaller now, and with that comes a smaller root system, so they can be even more susceptible to these droughty periods that we get into, which then again also goes back to needing to have water there at times to keep the tree alive, let alone have a crop. So depending on the system of how you're growing it and everything, that can play into this, when we're going to have the crop and how much and the size of it.
So this year, at least, and last year, maybe even the year before, we've had more hot, dry weather than we're used to, and we're dealing with some of the issues that people in other regions of the country do. All right.
Yes, that is normal to them.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. All right, thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS.
When you've been in an accident, every decision matters.
That's why having the right legal support, like Marcus and Mack, can make all the difference.
I'm attorney Robert Marcus.
And I'm attorney Brian Nitterheiser.
At Marcus and Mack, we've transformed countless lives.
Our courtroom victories speaks volumes about our dedication, and our track record speaks for itself.
So when insurance companies need to hear you mean business,
let Marcus and Mack be your voice.
Marcus and Mack, with 5 convenient offices, including Indiana. Learn more at marcusandmack.com.
The Pirate Parrot and a spectacular fireworks show are coming to First Commonwealth Bank Field in Homer City. The PA Youth American Legion State Baseball Championship starts Saturday, July 27th through the 31st. The Pirate Parrot will be there Saturday evening at 6:30 to cheer on the teams and meet all his fans young and old. Bring the family for the day and stay after the game for fireworks that will light up the night sky. Kids 12